My name is Cassy Summers. Welcome to the Curious Universe podcast. Welcome, everyone. I'm here with the beautiful Diva Diaz as my guest today. Thank you for being here.
You are too kind. Thank you for having me.
So today we're going to be talking about business and the difference that people can be with business. I think I grew up thinking business was like a certain way and went to university for some business courses. And it was very like, this is how it's done. And as I got into the business world, I started to realize there's so many different ways that people are with business. Some have multiple businesses, and I kind of want to explore that and just kind of look at what different tools could people use in their own businesses, or if they're looking at maybe I want to start one. So Diva, would you tell us a little bit about your businesses? I'd love to hear about it.
So, So I have a business which is, I call it like lifestyle and wellness, but really it's about access consciousness classes that I do.
Yeah.
So that's one that I've had for like 13 years, I think. And it's been incredible. It's a business that luckily is just different every single day, is just constantly changing due to access consciousness constantly changing. And it allows me to just do everything globally, either in person or traveling as well. So that's one business that really kind of like feeds my soul, which they all do in a different way. And then several years ago, well, right before COVID, actually, I started this other business, which is called Patcha Blue. And we produce coats and capes made out of alpaca wool. And it's all handmade in the highlands of Peru. Wow. And that's been a really nice, I would say, like artistic outlet for me in terms of designing and just the beauty of it and the luxury of the products and what they can bring to people, and just adding that kind of like hedonistic vibe to your everyday, making it accessible for people. And then we also support, the communities that work with us and that actually produce the wool and the fabric and the capes themselves. And then I've got another business that's about to start very soon. So
will you tell us?
Yes, I will. Yeah, it's actually ozone, which I don't know if have you heard of ozone?
A little bit. Tell me.
Yeah. So ozone is basically 3 oxygen molecules that, when applied to the body or even to the environment or to water, purify, cleanse, detox, and just oxygenate. So it's incredibly dynamic. It makes you just feel really revitalized. It has anti-aging kind of secondary effects. It reduces inflammation, and it just helps with a whole bunch of things. And, I've had ozone on and off for the last, 15 years or so. And I had it also when I had this inexplicable disease that I was like dying from. I was told that I was going to die, and nothing could heal it. And then I went and I had ozone treatment, and within 3 days I was like 80% better. So since then, wherever I go, I look for ozone. And with this business, I would like to make it very accessible for people at home, so that everybody can like take charge of their own health and just their body and their surroundings. And especially with COVID and all of that stuff, like how do we make our homes like a very comfortable, safe place where you feel that you've got some control in that area. So yeah, that's my other
business. So people will be able to like purchase something and have it in their home? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The machines to actually generate the ozone, and then, information on how to apply it to everything, to your body, to your fruit and veg, to really like remove any kind of toxins and like pesticides and stuff, and to purify the air. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. So how did you find these businesses, or did these businesses find you?
Both.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to say both. I could have not turned any of them into businesses and just had them as these fun things that I did, but I am constantly creative. And the thing for me is that business is an incredible creative outlet that actually supports your life as well and supports everything that you do. And so for me, it was just like a natural thing of let me share this with the world, with all of it, with the Access Consciousness business. I was like, everybody needs to have these amazing tools and classes. So then I just started doing it. So in all of these cases, I've just started doing it. And then afterwards, I thought to myself, well, maybe I'll actually turn it into an official business.
That's amazing. So do you have a lot of ease with business, like creating it, running it, like instituting it, or is there a part that you like the most? Like that's the most fun for you?
I generally love all of it. I have a really easy time having like the overview of everything. And I don't mean that in the sense of I can be a manager and boss everyone around. Not like that. Exactly. Right. But really having the overview of what the business could be and all the steps that are required to get there. And then all the creative things that you can do to grow it. And then the people that are required to contribute to get those parts moving and instituted. That for me is just so fun and joyful. Yeah. But you do a lot of business as well, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's been interesting. Like I said, I went to university for business courses, but when I went to do one, I felt like I didn't know anything. Like it was brand new and just really learning. I'm like, I kind of observe and then I'm like, okay. And then I go in and then I have to find my own way.
Yeah. I think that's what it's like too. Cause I remember I studied part of my university degree. I don't know why I chose to study management because I just thought this will be easy. And when I was in there, I was like, why are we studying common sense? Like what is going, how did they manage to make, and I know it sounds very obnoxious, but I was like, shouldn't we just be getting out there and like actually implementing this and not just, having the theory of it? And I know that the theory is helpful and everything, but I think my attitude has always been quite entrepreneurial and that I'll just try stuff out and see what works and learn that way. So yeah, I get that totally with what you're saying about having studied it and then having to actually go out there and implement it is very different.
Very different. So talking about management, and so you have people that work with you. How's it been for you kind of handling staff or even finding people that work well with you and with your businesses?
I would say it's probably been the most challenging part of doing business.
Yeah.
The most challenging part is, from my point of view anyway, finding great staff. Not that I haven't found great staff, I have, but there are just so many people to choose from. And there are so many great people in different areas, but it doesn't always mean that they are well suited to the thing that you and your business require. And I think that's the key thing. For me, if I've liked somebody very often in the past, I would be like, oh, they say they can do this and they're nice and they seem to work well with everybody else. I'll just hire them. And it doesn't necessarily mean that they're able to deliver or desire to deliver on the job. Sometimes people just want to be a part of something. And so I think as a business owner or a manager or of any kind, having that awareness of that very clear difference between who can actually get the job done and who, for you, it would be fun to just hang around and be creative with, they're two entirely different worlds.
Yeah, I think I learned that one the hard way again and again and again until I was like, okay, I have to stop doing the same thing and expecting a different result here.
I hear you. Yeah. What's it been for you?
The same. I get drawn to someone and I'm always asking questions. And so I like to talk on the show about asking questions. And so, what would it be like if I added them to my business? Does it expand? Does it grow? And I find for my business, people will come in and then there'll be an awareness of, oh, we did everything we came to do together. And then I have the hard time of going like, we should break up. I think we've done everything and the last year, it's actually been easier. And I have some beautiful conversations because a lot of the people that I work with become friends in some way. And most of them are also in the question. So they've gone like, you know what, I got that too, but I didn't want to say anything because I just love working with you. So then we both get to choose something different. And I'm kind of learning that right now, like, oh, it's okay. It's okay to like have people flow in and flow out and contribute to you. And that's kind of how my life's set up, really. Friends and stuff like that. Do you have staff that have stayed with you, like they've been with you like the whole 13 years, like of your access business, or do you find a flow?
I honestly have. Yeah.
Oh,
I really have. Yeah. So, and it doesn't mean that they've always been there, but they've always been there in a way, like in and out. And so actually the lady that is like my right-hand woman for everything now, not only my access business, but for one of my other businesses as well. She was the one who actually kickstarted me into even beginning the business, my access business. And so she was with me for a while. Then she went off, worked on other businesses and projects, then, showed up again. And so it's been incredible to just have that growth. And like you're saying, like sometimes just recognizing, okay, this is done for now, but then not having to close that door and not having to make anybody wrong or each other wrong or make out that there's a problem when there isn't one, which always leaves the door wide open, actually, which for me is really important in business as well.
Yeah, me too. I have like all of these exciting things just came to my head. I was just at a class with you, an amazing X-Men class, and you were talking a bit about kind of having a lot of things on the go, like, because you're in this beautiful castle and kind of you're running some stuff there, and then you have all these businesses and
I run the entire castle.
Oh my God. Okay. So some people might be like, how is that possible? Are you not sleeping? So she must not be sleeping and she's not taking any time for herself. And So So
and what's interesting? Yeah. I love that you mentioned that actually, because when I speak with people in general, and it's not because they've got like, some kind of like bad vibe towards me or whatever, but the first thing that they will say is, are you taking time for you? And I'm like, this is time for me. This is the most creative, energy giving, like fun thing that I could do. And if I wasn't doing it here, I'd be doing it in some other area. But I've not really had that many people go, okay, so what are the tools that you're using to be able to do that or to have ease with this? What are the different ways that you handle the things? How do you multitask in this way? How do you even like choose different priorities? What happens if you feel over? I don't have anybody asking me that. I just have people going, but take time for you. And I'm thinking, I love that. But obviously, if that were my point of view, I wouldn't be doing this.
Yeah.
And so I think it's very different to also recognize and allow ourselves to recognize that some things really do feed us. They feed our creativity. They feed the amount of energy that we have. They feed our future. They feed everything. And if we don't acknowledge that because we're thinking, oh, I'm supposed to have a hobby that I do twice a week. I'm supposed to go out for dinner once a week with friends, like tick, 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 do the social activities that make you feel that you're having a life. If I don't have those, there's something wrong. But what if there isn't? So for the longest time, I would just judge myself as I must be doing something wrong. I should probably not like the jobs that I'm doing. This was like, a decade ago. I should probably, just take a weekend off or a week off and go on a holiday and just disconnect and ignore all my messages. But it wasn't from the choice of it would be fun to do this. It was more from this reaction of that would be the acceptable way to behave. And it's weird that I like this so much. And people will think she's just a workaholic. She'll never create a life. She'll never have a relationship. She'll never have X, Y, Z. But as I started to acknowledge what was true for me and that I actually really like functioning this way and it brings out the best of me in every way, that's when I started really enjoying it and actually having more success and ease with all of it.
That's so beautiful. And that's a great tool for people to look at for them, like what is joyful for them. Like, how many things do they actually like having going on at the same time that kind of energizes? And I love what you said about feeding you. Have you had, because I myself have noticed, I've had businesses that I felt like were draining me.
Yeah.
And then I've had businesses that were, it's like feeding me. Like I don't need to sleep as much. I don't need to eat as much. I'm so energized and like joyful to be there. So what are kind of the signs for you? Is it the same thing? Like when you're like, oh, this is kind of draining, like something needs to shift here?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's such a good question, because that's usually at the point at which we go, well, then I'm going to quit.
Yeah.
Which is not really a question. And the reason I say it's not a question is because if you're willing to ask questions, you're going to get clarity that other people will miss, which will allow you to go further than most people can go. And so with me, what has become so just glaringly clear, especially in the last month, is that if I start to get overwhelmed, if I start to get tired, if I start to get bored, it's because I'm headed in a direction that isn't going to create the greatest result. It doesn't mean that I need to throw away the entire project, but perhaps I don't need to be doing things this way, or perhaps there's an easier way, or perhaps I can hire somebody else to help with that bit, or maybe it's not the time to expand that particular area of that business. But all of that to me has always been an indication of like, hey, you're going down the wrong road here, ask a different question and just turn around. And so when I've been willing to do that, what's happened is these areas that seemed stuck and confused, and where I would just be like, oh, I can't even get my head around this, I just want to sleep. And then it's so easy to go to, oh, there's something wrong with me, there's something wrong with the business, with the other people that have been working on this. Rather than doing that, if you ask, what's actually going on here and what else is possible that would create ease in this area? I always try and follow the ease, like, the simplicity of things. Always, 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 there's been an incredible solution or different option that's shown up that just expands everything, is less work, less money, less hours, less effort, less of everything that's difficult. So to me, that's been a huge gift in recognizing that, because then, if you're smart, you could also apply that for the rest of your life, not just business.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I love that, an indication when things are, so people could notice that's coming up for me and then ask that question. Is there a different way I could do this? Is there an easier way? I noticed that I set my business up to be difficult so I could prove it was an actual business.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was great for a while and it was very difficult. And then I realized what I was creating. Did you create your businesses from the start from, I like ease. I would like to have ease. No, no.
God, no. I wish. No, I created them like, on and off in different ways and at different times, like in a similar way that you did, to create difficulty or to prove that you're doing a good job. Or if suddenly the business made a ton of money, it was like, was that too easy? And then you have to create some kind of hiccup to make it harder. Or if you start to get too well known for your business, then kind of hiding away so that it's not like, oh, you're too much, so it's actually been like a great facilitation of what I'm willing to be in the world, looking at how I've been running my businesses. But no, I have not always made the smartest choices. I'd say 90% of the time probably has not been the smartest choices. But when you do make smart choices, those ones can explode everything.
Yeah.
And I'm probably exaggerating. It's probably not as much as 90%, but it feels that way when you're going through it.
It does, right? The easy stuff's just easy and the hard stuff is
Exactly.
So what are some of the tools that you use with like multitasking or having your attention on things, not dropping the ball,
I'd say like two main tools that have really just opened up so much for me is one, no judgment, and two, relax. Because it's kind of like if you're in the middle of the ocean and there are a lot of waves, there's a lot of stuff going on, you start to panic and get freaked out. you're probably going to have a hard time treading water or swimming or whatever you're doing. But if you relax, you could even relax enough that your body just floats by itself. I'm oversimplifying it, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So, and, you know, what I've realized is that the moments where it seems like there is so much going on, which there always is just my awareness that there are so many things that require attention, but it doesn't mean I need to get to all of them right now. So I will consciously say to myself, all right, where can I relax here? Like, what relaxation can I be? And I will take 2 seconds. I will go and I will make a coffee, usually make a phone call to somebody, you know, probably business related, but do something that just kind of takes me out of that mindset, and then just go back in and ask a question like, what requires my attention next? What can I take care of? Not from this thing of, I've got to do so much stuff, but from the question of what can I take care of? Like, what can I actually nurture here into existence? Which takes the edge off of this, got to get it done, you know, got to tick off the to-do list. And then the other thing of no judgment is that for me personally, and I'm sure it might be similar for you, Cassy, going into self-judgment of where you're failing or not doing enough or stressed, where you should be calm, that is like the killer of everything. And so with everything that comes up, like emotionally or mentally in my world, or even viscerally, where I'm like, you know, you get frustrated and you feel tense and stuff. When I just sit there and I go, okay, interesting that I'm choosing this. This is an interesting choice. What an interesting point of view, you know, and these are tools of access consciousness, obviously, but by actually applying them during your day, it's incredible how easy it is to shift your mindset. As quickly as you can get into a bad mood by hearing some bad news or something that's annoying, you can just as quickly get out of it by asking a question or reminding yourself that everything is an interesting situation. Nothing has to be drama or whatever. And so that takes you out the judgment of it, and it allows you to have the awareness of what choices to make from this cool, calm, and collected perspective, not from this reactive, hysterical thing. I'm Latina, so sometimes I'm a bit dramatic.
I am too, and I have no excuse. I'm a female. I don't know.
You're a person. We're people. Okay.
Yeah. That's so cool. You said something in that class that I was talking about, and it's actually been quite a game changer for me. And I've been telling everyone about it, so I wanted to bring it up here. You talked about it. I talk about energy a lot on the show. You talked about how much energy can I leave here until this is complete. So you're talking about different projects, different things. And I realized like, oh, wow, it could be that easy. And that to me took out like where I didn't have to have it up here in my brain, like constantly, like, am I putting attention on it? It was like, oh, it's just how much energy can I leave here till this is complete? Is there more that you could say about that? Or did I deliver the tool well?
You delivered it impeccably. Yeah, that's exactly the tool. But I think that was exactly what you said is it takes it out of having to be in your head. And I think a lot of what stresses us out and can feel overwhelming in life, not just in business, is that we feel that if we don't have everything in our head, that we're gonna like drop the ball, we're gonna forget to pick the kids up from school, we're gonna forget to, I don't know, spend time with our partner, we're gonna forget to pay the bill. When what if that's not entirely true? You know, like there are incredible people out in the world who are able to multitask to a degree that's unbelievable. And they don't always have everything in their head permanently, like it'll come in and out. And so, you know, a tool that I love, the one that you said, I heard Gary Douglas say it in a class years and years ago. And to me, it was so key because very often we can pull our energy out. Yeah. You know, where we're like, I'm on holiday, I'm gone, don't even contact me. And there is this kind of wall up that is like, don't contact me, I'm not here. And so you end up leaving a void energetically where you usually would have your attention. Now, if we're smart as infinite beings, we might just be able to leave our energy in lots of different places, which also creates a sense of peace because we're not trying to avoid all of these different projects from, you know, demanding our attention and stuff. And so that to me was also really life-changing when I heard that tool and started applying it, because suddenly it wasn't just down to what can I do and tick off my to-do list. But now it was, what can I be that also feeds and nurtures everything that I'm creating, even if I don't get to do everything on the to-do list.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. It's so peaceful, like to look at that. And what I've noticed since I started applying that things that I had on my to-do list, someone else will just do. And I'm like, whoa, because I'm used to kind of being the person that institutes and actualizes things. Like I'm the one that gets it going. So when people are just doing stuff for me now, I'm like, wow, that's magic,
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah, the magic of being. Well, thank you so much. This was I feel like I could talk to you forever about business. Do you have, as we close, is there like a favorite tool that we haven't talked about, or something even that you're using right now, like with all this new change and all these new businesses and stuff, that you want to leave people with?
I would just, a thing that I still not necessarily work on, because work sounds difficult, but I'm actively like putting attention on and making a demand to choose more of every day is ease with everything, and that means that sometimes looking at systems or looking at the way that you've been doing things, if it's heavy, if it feels complicated, there's probably a much easier way, but you have to be willing to lose that. You have to be willing to lose who you were yesterday in business. You have to be willing to lose the way that you did things so that you can gain something different. And, it actually takes a great amount of intelligence to simplify things rather than overcomplicate. And I think very often we're trying to overcomplicate things to feel like we're doing enough or fill in the time or whatever that is. But if you gift yourself that simplicity, how much space could open up for you to, be even more creative and have fun doing whatever you're doing, whether it's going on holiday or not going on holiday.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. If anyone wants more with Diva Diaz, we're going to have links in the show description. Please check her out. And thank you again so much for being on the show.
Thank you. Thank you, Cassy. Thanks, everyone.
Bye. Thank you for exploring the curious universe with me. Your curiosity matters. And what if together we could create a greater, more curious world?